Everyone, for today's video, I'm doing a sort of generic champion build. As you can see, I'm using Sir Balin for this, and Balin has an identical skill tree to Brunor and Landvul. Sir Kay's skill tree is a little different, but also still fairly similar to this. And I mean, any of the champions, Black Knight, White Knight, Lancelot, to a lesser degree. This build really works for them because what really carries this are some of the universal abilities that all the champions have, plus some of the gear picks that I'm going to be showing off, and a powerful combo of two of these gear picks. That being said, I do think the Black Knight and the White Knight are probably still the strongest champions. Even with this build, could probably get better results as they do have skills that will help fill in the gaps for this build, because sometimes there is cooldowns that come into play here, and those two characters can take advantage of that downtime with the cooldowns more efficiently than a standard champion like Balin here. But as you'll see, this build is honestly just kind of busted largely due to the gear combinations, where even a standard champion like Balin can do super crazy things. The essences are very standard stuff for any champion. I like to run Essence of Annihilation for 10% weapon damage, Essence of Extermination for 1 AP per kill. Essence of Poise makes them immune to stun. This one you can swap out depending on your own personal needs. And Essence of Crushing, 20% armor breaking. For me, you'll see this Poise is actually redundant due to a gear choice, so it would have been better if I gave him Essence of Stability. This one here is a bit of a flex slot. You can kind of just put whatever you want into it. I do recommend something defensive though. Going into gear, I have the Juggernaut Seal, something that I like to get on a lot of my heavy armor users. It just provides a lot of defense, extra HP, immunity to stun, which is why this essence is now redundant. A bit of extra movement AP, which I really like, as champions aren't very mobile by default. And then gaining some vitality back at the end of a mission is whatever. I have the Flogged One's Mark. This isn't a great weapon. There's definitely better ones that I've shown off, but this one definitely works fairly well. It does have gain 2 AP for the first turn of the encounter, so that combos well with damage focus, and it just has plus 8 weapon damage, so it just has a higher base damage. The first and last ability are kind of whatever. I generally don't take a lot of vitality damage. It's something you actively want to avoid, so that first ability is sort of like a emergency. Don't play into this intentionally. And restoring an injury token is kind of nice to make sure you're not taking injuries between fights, but it doesn't actually help with the actual killing potential we're going into. The stars of the show here are these next two items, as they are both very strong individually and together enable some crazy combos. First one here is the Earthsmith Ring. It grants the Earthball skill. It's a ranged attack with a 3x3 AoE and it costs 1 AP. It boosts area attacks, which is good for a champion, Earthshaker, Whirlwind, Cleave, and some physical debuff resist. Last is the Wreath of Bebd. I have another video on this back before the 1.1 patch, where it was absolutely busted. After the patch, it's still really, really strong. That gain 3 AP for the first kill each turn is nice, but not why we have it. The teleport next to the closest enemy within 8 tiles after each kill, that is still absurdly strong. Champions, for the most part, their weak spot is mobility, having to go from target to target to target. Unless the enemies are all very close or very tightly packed, so you can get huge AoEs off with things like Earthshaker or Cleave, you're just going to run out of AP in a single turn, so you're only going to kill so many of them, maybe half. Even with the Essence of Extermination and the Rage ability bringing you up to 2 AP per kill. That's just how it works, and that's fine. The plus 2 damage for each kill, just creating a higher damage stacking bonus. This teleport eliminates the need to move, so the amount of kills you're going to be getting per round jumps much, much higher. This does enable full team sweeps if the enemies have low enough health, and it enables you to just get larger amounts of the team dead if they are higher health targets. There are still missions as you go through the game where, with this combo, you won't be eliminating the entire enemy team. Such as on this run, I'm Rightful Old Faith doing the Red Knight mission. There was just so many enemies in that one, for example, and a lot of them had so many health that because of this combo, I was able to kill like half, where before I probably would have killed like a quarter. So that's still a huge performance jump, but it's not so absurdly busted where you're always going to be wiping the entire enemy team. This combo, however, is still extremely strong, because the teleportation eliminates a lot of wasted AP through movement, and this Earthball lets you just shoot off a ranged attack to get kills and gain some AP back to keep your melee swings going. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about when we get to the gameplay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on skills. This is all fairly basic stuff. I've kind of gone into this with some of my other builds and discussions with champions. The key things here is with Strike, we're increasing the damage, applying vulnerability so that way follow-up attacks can kill better if the first one won't. And Glory Kill, reducing cooldowns by 1. This is a big one. Defensive Stance, this is just a good defensive maneuver. You're going to be using this if you're going to be ending a turn, for example, and you know you're not going to get all of the kills. You end your turn with this, ends your turn extra safe, and you don't have to worry about your champion taking a bunch of damage during the enemy team if they still have a lot of opponents alive. I like to reduce the cooldown so we can use this as often as possible. This mostly gets used through the campaign. Make it so the amount of armor you lose is at a reduced rate, and getting some extra temporary HP. Power attack is a huge one. Extra armor break, extra damage, we reduce the cost. Also applying vulnerability, and initiator. So that way if it's full health target, you just get an extra big oomph into it. Taking Stunning Blow is something I do like to do sometimes, though this is mostly useful for bosses. Rage, this is the big enabler to get that stacking weapon damage. 15% with the upgrade, last 3 turns. This actually is very useful post patch 1.1. As I mentioned before, you're not always going to be killing everything. And then that 1 AP per kill on Bloodlust. Juggernaut is also useful as you're covering ground. With this one with Teleport, it's hard for me to tell, maybe someone else can confirm this. Because I'm getting kills and my damage is going up after a kill, I can't tell how much is going up because of I'm getting a kill, or if Juggernaut is also getting added in for the distance covered with the teleport. We're taking Cleave with damage upgrades, Earthshaker with damage upgrade, increased range, Vengeance, increased damage against anything that hits Balin, or your champion in general, just more of those extra damage buffs to get the ball rolling easier, plus an extra AP if he takes at least 2 hits. Whirlwind, we don't actually use a whole lot, because it's so expensive. This really requires enemies to just be in a sort of surrounding formation around Balin, where a lot of the times Cleave will just do fine, or maybe just power attacking one of them and then trying to get one of your, killing spree free swings to kill another one. This does get some use, but not a whole lot. Upgrades for the damage, and then AP cost reduction. Then, of course, damage focus. This is what we use for our setup turns. So we're getting 8% damage for each unspent AP, plus extra AP carrying over into the next turn, and also a huge amount of armor. Melee expertise, decent defensively, but we're mostly taking this for killing spree. Getting those free swings makes a huge difference, and really is what makes champions AP efficient. And then combat specialist, just extra damage for each adjacent enemy, just making it easier to get that initial ball rolling. Extra area damage, just so that way all of the important moves do extra damage, more likely to get kills. And hardened armor, a bit of a defensive, because you don't want your champion dying or taking a lot of hits during your setup turn. Yeah, that covers all the skills, not a whole lot to go over. You can see my Balin is only 24. I usually like to put out my builds once they've reached 25 and have the maximum skill points to really show off how I like to put everything. But ultimately, I decided that extra level really isn't going to make much of a difference at this point. If you were to ask me where I'm going to put the last 2 skill points, honestly, at this point, I'd say it really doesn't matter. Probably one into Stunning Blow and then one into another upgrade. At this point, all the important stuff is taken. You can put those last 2 skill points where you want them. For the first mission, I'm doing Infernal Triumvirate. You can see this fight here. There's only 1 enemy currently on display. We do know for a fact there are hidden enemies that are pretty spaced out. That's why I chose this mission, to show off just how strong having this teleport is. Removing the AP per kill off of it does make it no longer broken, but having the teleport at all is still absurdly powerful. So our first turn, we're just going to pass, let him come at us, and there you can see some of these other allies are coming out of the woodwork. This is part of the reason why we still have Juggernaut. He's going to have to move to get in position to start his initial kills. And we do know on very hard, he's just not going to have enough damage to just outright kill these guys and get the ball rolling. So that's why we have the rest of our team here to help soften them up for him. Okay, there we go. So our team put in a lot of work softening up the target. So we're going to move to here, take that opportunity attack, so that way when we swing and kill him, we get a free swing on him. Then we're going to do the same. You can see that saved us 2 AP. Saved us another 2 AP. And since we're getting 2 per kill, these short jumps, it's basically netting nothing for us. Then you see, this teleport works for hidden enemies too. We moved from here all the way to here. That would have been all of our AP. But instead now we have 4, or 5, so we still have enough to get the kill. So now what I'm going to do with this one, we move 1, and then we Earthball. That ended up allowing us to get a kill there, where normally we wouldn't have. That's why having any 1 AP skill like this from a trinket is good. There's another one that provides Poison Cone, which is also extremely effective. So, because of that, we got 1 extra kill. Because of that teleport, we got like 4 extra kills. And there's still this enemy left. I think there may be a couple more in this corner, but that's fine. We're just going to pass. And you can see that because of this gear combo, we were able to get so many more kills like I was talking about than otherwise isn't possible. And then we're just going to Earthshaker. Okay, I'm not... Oh, there's one left. I don't know why they didn't bother shooting. You can see the cooldown is going down with each kill. That's just how the trinket works. There you go. In this specific fight, teleportation was extra useful because it brought us to the enemies that were also hidden. Assuming they weren't, you know, hidden, it still was giving us great mobility and saving us tons of AP. For the second fight, I am doing Besieged by the Undead. This is probably one of the highest enemy counts in a singular fight. It's only a level 21 mission, but I thought this would be a good one to show, to really show why this Earthball, having a 3x3 area attack on a champion, just enables some crazy stuff with them. We are actually going to use some AP on this first turn to move up a little bit. Okay, I have 9. That's okay, that's close enough. And I'm counting that because the damage focus ability to gain extra armor does calculate based on increments of 3, so to maximize the amount of armor, I'm going to end my turn with 9. And we're actually just going to pass with everyone else. We're going to let the undead come in closer. Okay, excellent. As usual, we need to do some softening with the rest of our team. All softened up. This is actually a pretty good time where I could use Whirlwind here, or I could use Earthshaker. We got a lot of options here to us. We're going to go ahead and do this one, though. up one. Yeah, we're gonna power attack because we can get the kill on him. Swing here. I was hoping you'd hit him so we could get a better chain, but you see now we have Earthball off cooldown. So now we use this for 1 AP, and we're gonna get 3 kills here. Which then allows us to get our chain kills, kill them. Earthball is back off cooldown. And I think you're seeing why Earthball is such a powerful tool. Earthball by itself is extremely powerful on a champion. It's a very large AoE, giving them a 3x3 and getting AP off of that, even if it was just 1. But the fact that it costs 1 AP is just a huge AP saver for them. Adding teleportation onto that, the character is just so extremely AP efficient now that we end up in situations like this that look like a pre-patch champion. This is an extreme example. Do not think that this is the norm. I chose this mission for a reason because it has very high enemy density on this battle map. That is not going to be the case for every fight, or even most of them. There are definitely going to be some, and you're just going to feel extremely powerful and super OP when it happens. But by the time you get these items, those sort of missions, start to like drop off a little bit. I'm sure everyone thinks of Sir Brunor's recruitment mission. This would be absurdly insane in that, but that mission is also before you get level 15 gear. This is a very powerful combo. You saw how strong the teleport was. You saw how strong the Earthball was. Each one kind of carried its own in the different fight. That first fight, we didn't use Earthball hardly at all. We got 1 extra kill with it. And this one, we're using Earthball way more than we're actually really needing the teleport. But together is what really enables this. So I have one last fight. For the last fight, going back to the classic 3 sister fight against the Sealy. They're spread out, so this should show off the teleport a bit, and they do group up a bit to help also show off some of the Earthball. So just standard stuff. We're going to CC a lot of our enemies to mitigate how much damage they're going to be doing as I pass my first turn. Excellent. Pretty decently spaced out. Go ahead and continue softening. That should be good enough. And we're going to move to here, provoke this opportunity attack because it offers better positioning. 1, 2. Great mobility, saved a lot of AP there. Swing on this one. Cool. We're actually going to take a step back so that way we can use Earthball. Get that double. And that's fine. Instead of wasting AP chasing after him, he moved into Earthball range. And there we go. So that is the champion build in action. Like I said, this can really be done for any of the champions. I actually do think the White Knight, it would be a bit stronger because his Blessed Blade provides him an extra built-in 1 AP per kill. So he would have a bit of a better time, going and keeping that train rolling. And I think Black Knight could also do a bit better. As you saw, this does have a cooldown, and I have run into situations, I didn't in any of these display fights, but I have run into situations where the Earthball skill is on cooldown, and I have nothing left in melee. So I have to go run and hit something, or I don't have enough movement AP to run and go hit something. So in that situation, having something like Leap Attack would be great because, that gives me mobility and an attack for a much more efficient cost, and theoretically get a kill, maybe 2, and then get Earthball back up and, see what happens from there. But even without those, on a basic champion like Sir Balin, or Lanvil, or Brunor, or even Sir Kay, they can still do amazing things. These two items together just cover the weaknesses of champion extraordinarily well. Together is just ridiculous. So if you're struggling a lot with some of your gameplay and you're just looking for something that'll kind of be like easy mode, this item combination, this build, I think will really help with that and just put your champions into just a crazy space. Just remember that there are going to be certain missions, there's going to be certain fights where you're not going to be doing enough. For example, like with Fomorians, they're very beefy, so sometimes even then with this build, not going to be getting all the kills. I mentioned specifically that Red Knight mission earlier, which is before endgame, but definitely a lot of those Red Knight missions, if you're doing rifle alignment, are considered some of the hardest missions in the game. And yeah, even with this, those missions were still pretty tough. I had to play very carefully. It was definitely easier because of this, but there were some pretty dicey moments. Anyways, I hope you found this entertaining or informational. If you're looking for what I think is probably the strongest or one of the strongest gear setups for your champion, this is what you want to be aiming for. Thanks for watching.